Hi, I'm Denice Leong. I am the Director of Talent and Community at EM Marketing, and I'm one of the people to help create the EM Marketing Mentorship Program.
Hi, I'm Allison. I work at Dropbox doing email marketing. At the beginning of this mentorship program, it was kind of a very interesting idea. I was currently in a role at a job that I was slowly trying to transition out of. I was in that process of interviewing for email marketing roles, and that's how I stumbled upon Denice here, because she was interviewing me for that role.
We were just on an initial conversation. She was like, actually, I'm kind of considering recruitment. Well, since you want to do that, let me introduce you to some recruiters, so then that way you can get a gist of what it's like.
Yeah.
I can tell you what my experience is, but everybody else has a different experience. So she was doing a bunch of kind of like research on her own while pursuing this contract role that we had. And then you ended up taking the contract role.
Yeah,
right?
midway through taking the contract role is when the mentorship started.
Yeah.
And then at that time, every mentor was already taken. And Denice was like, well, I could take you. Actually, I didn't know I was interested in a mentor. When she brought up the mentorship program, I love the idea of having someone who's like my big sis, who would provide me guidance. She was really personable. I feel like she got to know me on another level besides just trying to interview me, which I really loved.
It's really funny because we've been doing this, 2 years now? It still feels very organic. Like, it's not a heavy lift for me. I look forward to chatting with her and just checking up on her. It's just really been nice to see her grow. When we met this just past December, we were talking about something in her performance plan. I was like, wow, you are night and day, completely different from when I first met you. So I say when we started the program was supposed to last for the year. And it was like a monthly meeting that was already set up. We did the monthly meetings and we had goals, and there was like different focuses for each meeting. And at the end of that year, we actually met in person. The program ended, but we kept a monthly meeting on the calendar. We always scheduled it. We just check in. I would say, like, as the years have kind of evolved, some of our check-ins a lot more personal, like what's going on in your life. And then we always make sure we're covering something about the career. Like, we push on goals. She had an all hands meeting, for example. Your goal is going to be you need to meet 5 new people from a different team.
She encouraged me to talk to new people, which is super out of my comfort zone. My manager and director also asked the whole entire team later on, oh, how many people have you met? And the majority of my team members actually just stayed with each other, whereas I was able to remember a couple of people. And so when I was able to bring that back into our conversation, I was thanking her, but also she's like, but now you have to continue that conversation. She's always like encouraged me to keep going and finding new ways to like network, which I am still uncomfortable with.
I know, like, when you're in the thick of it, it's harder to kind of see bigger picture. So that's the one thing where I'm like, I'm going to play the long game and I'm going to help you with this little thing and you won't realize it.
So I think that also was really helpful in this mentorship program because it was like a two-way street. She was telling me to do something, I would do it, and I would report back and then like add additional flair of it on my own.
I think that's definitely the key to a good partnership. I'm willing to give, and the person is actually open to listening and actually doing something about it.
I know that when I first started with Denice, I was really timid. I was really scared. I didn't have a lot of confidence in what I was doing. You had to remind me that I was doing a good job.
What's interesting with Allison is she was not right out of college. You've been working for several years prior to that. She didn't necessarily need a mentor, but the fact that she sought one out for professional development. And I think that's one of the characteristics that make people really good workers. Like, you're constantly wanting to push yourself. You're constantly wanting to grow and learn. The way we've done it in the program is we look at the backgrounds of both the mentor and the mentee. Like, what are the goals? Where are they at in their career? The levels. And so that's where we kind of try to do the matchmaking. Ideally, if they're local or at least close in proximity, that's great. But we've also had much success with people who are long distance. The thing I think that's really good too is I'm not in her company. From a completely outsider's perspective, I'm like, have you thought about this or tried this? And then so I can be pushing her and she could be doing it. And quite frankly, her boss could think, oh, Allison's so great. I'm basically like your little cheerleader behind the scenes.
I'd say that I could recommend this program to anybody because everybody could really benefit from improving any parts of their life, specifically in our career, like how to network better or how to communicate with your cross-functional partners. I think about sometimes like my siblings who, for one, just graduated college about a year ago and they're having a hard time finding a job. And so this could also be very beneficial for him because talking to a mentor like Denice, maybe it's not the same experience, but he can learn more about like how to improve his resume, how to be seen more, and how to show up in conversations where you are highlighting the skill sets you have.
I think the biggest benefit is that you're kind of giving back to someone in the field, and for purely kind of unselfish reasons. You're really helping someone else bring all your experiences that you've learned, and you're going to give it to someone else and really help them grow in their kind of career. I get a lot of fulfillment personally just from that. And I'm sure from like the mentee side, just being able to have like a cheerleader who's got your back, regardless of the situation, completely like unbiased, but is able to kind of like push you to get better.